The wide receiver wants more money. And Niners haven't given it to him yet. So he goes on social media and posts things that are like cryptic. And he's been doing it for months. And today he went on his TikTok and posted a picture of the Washington Commanders practice, as if he's on the team, as if he gets their practice footage to watch in a little iPad afterward, as if he's in the meetings, in the locker room, part of the team. Didn't post anything from 49ers practice like, oh, I'm not there, but I'm still locked in. I'm learning. I'm watching. I care about my teammates. No. Washington. Why did he do that? Well, quarterback of Washington is one of his best friends. If not his best friend, he calls him like family. It's like a brother to him. Jaden Daniels. They played together at Arizona State. So he's making it pretty clear that he'd like to play for the Commanders. He did say that his first choice is to play for the 49ers, but he also said he'd be happy to play for Washington or Pittsburgh, which is quite a thing to say while you're still on a team. It's one thing if you're like a free agent, but he's under contract with the 49ers and he's daydreaming out loud about other teams he'd like to play for and now posting clips of the other team. He could say he was just supporting his friend, but we all know what he said. We all know that he's open to playing for Washington, and now it looks like he's sort of fantasizing about it. So the question isn't really what do you think of Aiyuk right now, or what do I think? I think we've discussed that. Some of you are getting tired of this, some of you aren't. But my question is, what do his teammates think? Players in the 49ers, not the front office, not the coaching staff. What do the teammates think? I was in that locker room this year. He was having a great year. You'd hear people like Kittle and Trent Williams say in the locker room with media around, pay that man his money. Pay that man his money. But when they said his money, they also said 25 million, 26 million. Seemed like a lot 6, 7, 8 months ago, simpler times. Now, that's not going to get it done. Aiyuk wants more than that. He seems to want at least $30 million. Maybe he'd settle for a couple million per season less. But it seems pretty clear the way he's talked, what he's pushed for, that he's sort of putting himself above his teammates. Like, I want more money than Debo. I want more money than Trent. I want more money than everyone on the team is currently making except Nick Bosa. And I'm tired of taking a back seat. And I am that good. And he's talking about other teams he could play for. These are captains he's putting himself above. Trent Williams, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Fred Warner. All guys who don't make as much money as, like, the Niners reportedly have offered Brandon Aiyuk $26 million a year. Deebo doesn't make that. Fred Warner doesn't make that. Kittle doesn't make that. They're not complaining. Trent Williams makes that much money. Future Hall of Famer. Is Aiyuk a future Hall of Famer? Not right now. So I'd wonder if his teammates are starting to roll their eyes and be like, dude. Because look, what did he do today? Put a picture of Jaden Daniels on his TikTok. Where's the picture of Brock? He said nice things about Brock, but not as nice as the things he said about Jaden Daniels. What do you say about Jaden Daniels? He can make all the throws, the deep throws and the intermediate throws and the checkdowns. If I were his teammate, I'd wonder, like, which team do you want to be on? Do you want to play with us? Or do you want to be on the Washington freaking Commanders so you can play with your friend? Like, what is really important to you? Winning a Super Bowl or playing with your friend? Winning a Super Bowl or making more money than everyone except Trent Williams and Nick Bosa? Or making more money than everyone except Nick Bosa? Is that unfair to say? I mean, posting, like, Debo never did this. None of the Niners players who had a problem with the negotiations ever did anything like this. Debo wasn't posting. Oh, what did he almost went to lunch with Mike McDaniel once when McDaniel was the Dolphins head coach. But he wasn't posting pictures of Dolphins practice talking about, I could really see myself playing for them. And yet people really turned on Deebo Samuel that offseason. Like, who does he think he is? He's a freaking diva. He was calling him Diva Samuel. I mean, first, I want to say thank you to Brandon Aiyuk for giving us news to talk about. I always appreciate that. It's been a dry offseason, no quarterback controversy. So from my perspective, I'm always grateful when Brandon does something like this. I'm not mad. But from a teammate's perspective, from Brock Purdy's perspective, he's sitting at home, you know what I mean, reading his Bible, and he goes on TikTok just to see what's going on with Brandon. Puts down his Bible for a minute, looks at TikTok, and sees Brandon posting about some other quarterback. That's got to hurt. You know? What about me? Because really, let's be honest about Brandon Aiyuk, the wide receiver whose name I prefer not to say right now. He really blew up because of Brock Purdy. If Jimmy Garoppolo had been the quarterback or Trey Lance, the wide receiver never would have been a second team All-Pro this year. Brock gets a lot of credit for that. Now, maybe if the wide receiver were playing with freaking Jaden Daniels, he put up even better numbers, but that remains to be seen. All we know is that the wide receiver was putting up middling numbers in his career, hovering around 1,000 yards until he started playing with a truly efficient quarterback in Brock. And yet he's opining to play with Jaden Daniels, a rookie. I don't know, man. I think at this point, what I would like to do, or I think the smartest move, is not to extend his contract. He's acting like a guy who really isn't all in to be with this team. He's not acting like a guy who's a leader on this team or who's sold out to be here. It seems like I don't know what Brandon Aiyuk is. I said his name again. I'd like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see if he can mature. This has been a disconcerting offseason, and I think he can be better than this. But until he shows it, I'd say, man, you got to play at your fifth-year option. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. You got to play it out. Bet on yourself. Or hold out, whatever you want to do. But no extension this year, man. Don't like the way you've gone about things. Don't like the way you've made this public without making it public and taking little jabs and try to sort of boost yourself at the expense of your teammates. Flirted with other teams. That's what he's doing. He's flirting with the Commanders. I don't like it. So no extension, unless, of course, you want to sign the one the Niners have offered that's very team-friendly. Assuming you don't want that, no middle ground, no negotiation. Play it out. And then we'll trade you next year. You can go play with Jaden Daniels next year, but not this year. And look, maybe things change. Maybe all of a sudden he becomes Mr. 49er, and then you keep him. But right now, he seems like a mercenary, a guy who wants to play for the highest bidder. And that's not the Niners culture. Everyone has to sacrifice a little bit to be on this team. You got to really want to be on this team. Everyone else seems to really want to be here. You don't see Fred Warner thinking like, man, it'd be so nice to be on the Bengals or whatever team. You don't see Debo being like, man, I really wish I was on the Rams. Now, I'm on the Niners, but I could really see myself on the Rams too. I like what they're doing over there. I like Matt Stafford. If George Kittle said he'd really like to play with CJ Beathard again, I mean, that would just be outrageous. But Aiyuk says it, and it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, why not? So I think the wide receiver has really revealed what he's all about at this point in his career, and it's a bit of a turnoff for me. So yeah, I wouldn't extend him. You extend cornerstones of your franchise, guys who are leaders. He's never been a captain. He's not going to be a captain this year. He's not even going to be at training camp. I think it's funny as this wide receiver sort of demands to be crowned elite and recognize that he's elite. The other wide receiver on the team, Deebo Samuel, is just showing up to work, practicing, being a captain, being a leader. It's kind of hard to argue like, hey, I'm the best wide receiver on this team when you're not even the wide receiver showing up. The other wide receiver, you got two wide receivers on this team who've been all pros. Deebo was a first team all pro. Both of them have had one special year, 11 and Deebo. Both of them have one special year. So it's hard to say that 11's better than him. Their resume is kind of similar. 11's younger, but he was better last year. But this year, one guy's there and one guy's not. One guy's posting pics about the Commanders, and the other guy's working out with Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing. How smart is Debo, by the way? Number 11 is essentially trying to push me off the team. He doesn't want what's allotted to him by the team. He wants more. And they can't afford me if they give him what he wants. So it's going to come down to me or him. And you know what? It ain't going to be me. Because I like being here. And I'm happy with my salary. And I have a good relationship with the coach. And he gives me the ball. So, you know what? If your strategy to stay here, number 11, is to flirt with Washington and hold out, well, good luck. Because I'm going to not do that. I'm going to mentor the rookies who are here to take your job and not only show up to OTAs and minicamp, I'm going to practice. And I'm going to be in great shape because the only knock on me is that I'm not always in great shape. But what if I am right now? Best shape of my life, happy making $23 million a year. You're over here not showing up to practice and upset that they've only offered you 26. I'm going to make this a really easy decision for them. I love what Debo's doing. I would do the same thing. Very smart. So let's see how far flirting with the Commanders takes number 11.